Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down something that can feel, well, a little intimidating, but it's absolutely essential for your financial freedom, building a personal budget that actually works for you.
So let's kick things off with a couple of questions that I bet will sound pretty familiar. You ever get to the end of the month and just think, wait, where did it all go? You know you worked hard, but there's just not much left to show for it.
Or maybe you've got these big dreams, right? A vacation, buying a house, or even just building up a nice, solid safety net. But it feels like you're just stuck, not really making any progress.
And here's the big one. Are you ready to stop reacting to your finances and start telling your money exactly where to go? If you found yourself nodding along to any of that, then you are in the perfect place. Let's get into it.
Okay, here's a quick look at our game plan. We're going to cover what a budget really is, the first steps to building one, picking the right method for you, how to handle debt, and most importantly, how to make it all stick.
All right, first things first, let's just demystify this whole idea of a budget. I know, the word itself can sound kind of scary, like it's all about restriction and boring spreadsheets. But trust me, it's really about empowerment.
Seriously, forget any idea of a financial straitjacket. At its core, a budget is just a plan. That's it. Think of it like a roadmap that you create for your money, guiding it toward the things that you actually care about, whether that's security, freedom, or chasing your biggest goals. And what's so great about thinking of it this way is how it just cuts through all the noise. It doesn't matter how much you make. Pretty much every dollar you handle falls into one of these three simple buckets: your needs, your wants, and your future, which is your savings and debt repayment.
So, knowing the concept is one thing, right? But actually putting it into practice, well, that's where the magic happens. Let's walk through the first practical steps to build out your own financial foundation.
These 4 steps are your starting lineup. They are absolutely foundational. First, you've got to know what you're working with. That's your income. Then you need a really honest look at where it's all going, and that means tracking your expenses. Splitting up needs and wants gives you clarity, and setting goals, that gives your whole budget a purpose, a why.
Now, this is a game changer. It's a huge mental shift. You need to stop thinking about savings as whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. Instead, you treat it like a bill, a non-negotiable bill that you pay to your future self. It's just as important as your rent. This one little tweak makes sure you're actually prioritizing your goals, not just hoping for the best.
Okay, so you've got your foundation. Now it's time to pick your system. And listen, there is no single best budget out there. The best one is simply the one you'll actually stick with.
So let's start with a really popular one. It's super simple, it's flexible, and it's perfect if you want some guidelines without getting lost in a million little details.
And here it is, broken down. It's brilliant. You take your take-home pay and just divide it into those 3 buckets we talked about. About 50% goes to your absolute needs, 30% is for your wants, the fun stuff, and a solid 20% gets aimed right at your savings and any debt you're paying off. And to make that totally concrete, let's put some numbers to it. Say you bring home $2,000 a month. Well, you'd aim for about $1,000 to cover all your must-haves, give yourself $600 for lifestyle stuff, and then you'd put $400 straight towards your financial goals. See? Simple.
But of course, 50-30-20 isn't your only choice. If you tend to overspend and really need more structure, the zero-based budget is amazing. It literally forces you to give every single dollar a job. Or if you're more of a hands-on, tactile person, the old-school envelope system with actual cash can be incredibly effective. The whole point is to find the one that just clicks with your brain.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room for a lot of us. That cycle of overspending and getting into debt. And you know what? This isn't just about math. It's about psychology.
It's so easy to beat yourself up and feel like it's just a failure of willpower. But the research shows there's actually a lot more going on inside our brains. The way we pay for things now is just fundamentally different, and it messes with our decisions.
This is such a fascinating insight, right? When you hand over actual cash, your brain registers a little sting, a little sense of loss. They call it the pain of paying. But when you just swipe a card or tap your phone or click buy now, that feeling gets dulled. It's almost like it anesthetizes the pain, which makes it way, way easier to spend more than you planned.
Now, when you're ready to attack debt, you've got a really interesting choice to make. You can go for the psychological win, that's the debt snowball. You knock out your smallest debts first and get those quick, satisfying wins to build momentum. Or you can go for the pure mathematical win with the debt avalanche. You target the debt with the highest interest rate first, which saves you the most money in the long run. Neither one is wrong, it's all about what's going to keep you in the fight.
So you've built your budget, you have a plan for your debt. We're at the final, most crucial piece of the puzzle,
making this whole thing stick for good.
Here are a few super practical tips to help you make this a lasting habit. First, automate your savings. Just set it and forget it. Make it happen without you even having to think about it. For those impulse buys, try this, a 24-hour waiting period. You'd be amazed how often the urge just disappears. And please, be realistic. A budget that's way too strict is basically designed to fail. Remember to check in on it, adjust it. Life changes, and your budget should change right along with it.
And really, that's the main takeaway here. A budget isn't about restriction. It's about intention. It's this living, breathing tool that's meant to grow with you. It gives you permission to spend on what you truly value. It gives you control, and it builds real confidence in your financial future. So think about it. What's one small change you can make today to get started?